It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Welcome to the Women's Exclusive, a podcast where you will find the resources and fresh perspectives to take action and empower yourself to build a life you love in business and in motherhood. I am Laura Lee.
And I am Gabriella. We are two mompreneurs who love creating, scaling, and building our business while tackling the joys and craziness of motherhood. Join us in this journey in the Women's Exclusive.
We want to take a moment and thank the Divas That Care Network for hosting us.
We are grateful to be surrounded by strong business women creating meaningful impact in the world.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Women's Exclusive. I am Yelska with Gabriella Cruz Photography, but of course you can call me Gabriella.
And I am Laura Lee with Inspired by Laura.
And together we are the Women's Exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so another episode. We're at what, episode 6 already?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I can't believe it. It's been a little over a month since we started this, and this is so much fun. I love it. So I hope you guys are all enjoying our podcast so far. This is something that, we've been talking about for a while, and we absolutely enjoy doing it, and I hope that it brings you guys value to it. So I kind of wanted to talk about inner voice, finding your voice. Have you ever thought to yourself, why is it so hard for me to speak my mind? Why does talking or have a conversation seem to come with so much difficulty? All the years of being told, don't act this way, be quiet, you're too loud or talking too much, the thought of having to behave a certain way has shaped some of us to be a little bit more reserved, not have the confidence to speak out our truth or what's on our mind. But how can this affect your life or your business? So I was listening to a podcast a while ago, and I don't remember which one it was, but the host was talking about how she lacked a voice. She wasn't confident in speaking, and it actually caused her to maintain stagnant in her business until she discovered improv. And, I was like, oh, okay, crazy. Anyways, she said one of the best things she's ever did was join an improv group. It was not only the most terrifying thing she ever did, and she sucked at it at the beginning and never knew what to say. But after a few months, she started getting better, which meant she also got better at creating and maintaining conversations with people, which helped, of course, in networking and putting herself out there more for her business. And eventually she could get on an Instagram story or live and talk. And then her followers had become more engaged, which eventually turned them into clients. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to go run in and jump into an improv. Even that's going to give me enough anxiety as doing lives or videos. But I can see how that actually worked for her, right? Like building that practice of getting a little bit more confident and finding her voice in herself definitely helped build her business, and it came with a lot of practice.
Yeah, I find it so funny how life kind of works, and this episode is directly on track with a whole bunch of things that's going on in my life. But recently I did consider maybe doing an improv class, and I directly related it to networking because I don't feel like I'm a good talker. I don't feel like I'm good in social situations, and I've always been told my whole life to be seen but never heard. And so I do have a problem with speaking up, and I do have a problem with speaking up with situations that are just uncomfortable too, not even just social situations. Sometimes I'd rather just sit and listen to people. But
Yeah, no, I actually feel the same way too. For the longest time growing up, I felt like every word that came out of my mouth was stupid. I didn't feel confident in myself. And when I did try to speak up, someone would like rebuttal, or they would have their own opinion or say something about mine, and then that'll just completely shut me down. And it got to the point where even having a normal conversation with anybody was so difficult for me. I couldn't actually do it. It was weird. It's like, how can you not have a conversation? Like, everybody knows how to talk, but when you're like constantly quiet and you don't actually maintain conversations with people, you literally forget how to talk. And
Yeah.
and it was actually because of you, honestly, like these last year or two that we've been working together, was that where you pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I'm actually like learning to talk again, to pronounce my words better, to feel more confident in what I'm saying, and not care about what other people say or think about my words, because those are my words and those are my opinion. And I'm not perfect, of course. I still, if you've listened to the first episode of the podcast, my voice was shaky because I was terrified, and I didn't know if what I was saying was even like, is it worth it, like, but I'm still growing, and I'm still working on it. And I think that by practicing, either doing an improv group, or the more you do things, the better you get at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
For me, I started network marketing in a company for almost 4 years ago, and I have a really bad time frame. I'm pretty sure it was 4 years ago. And I had to push myself in order to grow. And that's how, that's how me and you even met, was from the skills that I've learned from doing that. And that's how we have businesses that we have. But I had to push myself so far outside my comfort zone and get on and do lives. And I did a challenge where I went live every day for 30 days. And then I pushed myself and I did it for 90 days. Every single day, sometimes twice a day, I went live. And I felt exactly like what you just said. Like, first of all, who am I? I have nothing of value to give to the world ever and at all. And I sound like an idiot because I don't know what I'm talking about. And even when I'm talking about things that I know I'm talking about, I still sometimes think I sound like an idiot. And that stops me from speaking up. And it definitely stops me in social situations from ever saying anything. And that honestly makes me feel like an idiot too sometimes. So it's funny how stuff like this can stop you in so many ways, because it's kind of like a you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't situation. And it took me a while to do, like you said, like now you're getting to that place of not caring what people think of you and your voice and how you say your words and things like that. And it's taken me a while to stand in mine too and be like, okay, this is my opinion, and let go of the fear of the judgment, let go of all of that. And so I still choose, though. I'm not going to lie. I still choose what I will speak up about.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, we're not saying that, oh, now you have to like talk about whatever it is, of course. But I totally understand that for sure.
When I first started talking there, I kind of said that it's funny how this episode kind of relates to a lot of things that are going on in my life. My niece is here staying with me for about a month, and she is 12. And I've literally spent the last 3 weeks talking to her about this stuff because she's tall. She is like, she's got to be almost 5'11". She's got a good height on me. I'm 5'8", and she littles herself. I believe it's because of that. And she dims herself, and she speaks softly like this, where you can't understand her. Hopefully that picked up on the thing. And she talks like her normal voice is not this sweet little girl voice. She is a little girl, but she gives that extra sweet, quiet voice so that she's not heard because she's afraid to be heard. And a situation even came up last night where she was afraid to tell me she needed something, like a thing that she needed for herself that is not negotiable.
Yeah.
It was needed, and it was needed yesterday. But she was so timid and scared to tell me that she needed it. And she's like, oh, but I don't need it today. Like, if we could go to the store tomorrow. And I said, oh, do you need it today? And she's like, probably I do. I said, well, then don't do that. You have to speak up. You are worth everything that you need. And we had a conversation the other day. She was scared to tell me something because she didn't want to hurt my feelings, and someone else's feelings who's an adult. And I had to have that conversation again. Like, you're 12. You don't need to be worried about hurting an adult's feeling. And you are, just because I'm disciplining my child doesn't mean that you're not important. She didn't want to tell me because she thought I was so stressed out about my child. And I'm like, no. Actually, the example I gave her was, have you ever seen two guys like punch each other out and then they're best friends again? She was like, yeah. Like, well, that's kind of what I'm like with Lyndon. I discipline him and we move on. Yeah. He's not allowed to do that. I tell him he's disciplined and we're on to the next thing in life. And you don't need to be defined by someone else like that. You're just as worthy of saying, I'm unhappy because of this, or I need this in life, and you have a voice and you need to use it. And so that's really what her stay here has been about, is her using her voice. And I hope she takes something away from her stay with me in regards to feeling more confident and whatnot. And it's so important that, sorry, I wanted to bring this up because if you have children, we have to be aware, because we're both moms here, and a lot of our listeners are moms. We all have to be aware of how we're speaking, how we're showing up, and then what we're teaching our children.
Exactly.
Because that is going to be passed on to their children and their children. So teach them when they're toddlers to be kind, not rude, but to be kind and share their voice, because their voice matters. Their opinion matters. Your opinion matters. And a lot of adults don't know that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that too stems that, toddlers tend to be yappy, and are constantly asking why, or what is this? What is that? And after a while, as parents, we get frustrated and be like, oh, just shush, or, quiet them down. Exactly. Not right now or whatever. But I think that is one of the worst things that we could do, because we are stopping them from having a voice. We're stopping their curiosity, and for them to find out who they are and want to know more about the world. And, I'm not going to lie, I've said those stuff. It's like, I've answered the exact same question like 10 million times, child, come on. They're learning, and it's like, it's 3 a.m, child. Okay, it's time for bed.
I definitely have said those things to my son too, or I'm in the middle of something and he's like in my ear about something, and I'm like, not right now. But I do try to remember to come back to him and say, listen, mommy doesn't go away to work, and you don't have to go to daycare. It's me and you. And there's times that I need to work, and I talk to him. And I believe we've gone over this in other episodes, and I'm sure we'll go over this in future ones as well. But I speak to him. Sometimes I forget, but I always come back to it, and I speak to him with respect, and I explain things. And then he gets it, and he doesn't just feel shut down. And I will say, like, I am sorry I spoke to you that way, or I'm sorry I said that, and I am interested in what you have to say. I just need to do this first. Or if I can put it aside, I'll put it aside and say, okay, now I'm all yours. What did you have to tell me? And I'm sorry that I said, shush, you're valuable, and your voice, like, your voice is valuable, and what you're asking me, I want to know, and I want to learn about what you're trying to show me. So, just on the flip side, if you are a parent that has gone through that and you're like, shush, There's no judgment. We've done it too.
Exactly. We've all been there.
So we just want to, we hope that you find value in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly hard to live your life thinking that you don't matter and that your voice doesn't matter. And right now the world is in crisis too. And a lot of people aren't speaking up because they don't think they can do anything to make change in the world on many levels. And I'm not going to go into that, but you do have a voice about everything. And your life will get much better when you choose to share your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to struggle. And again, you're worth sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Because as long as you are able to, like you said, share your thoughts, yourself, be able to talk more and release that. Because I know for a fact, for me, for the longest time, I felt like there was this like chain that I had things to say. And now that I'm starting to learn and I'm growing on how to talk and be able to be vulnerable and not care about what other people are thinking, that what I'm saying is stupid or anything like that, I feel like the sense of release also. And having that sense of release is actually making me appreciate my life even more and enjoy my life more, enjoy my business. And I'm actually growing as a business more because I'm not hiding behind the shadows. I'm not hiding behind the camera as much. People are seeing who I am, and what I have to say is very relatable to what other people are thinking and feeling the same way. So for me, I feel like I'm making a difference for them too.
Yeah, exactly. Showing up for other people, showing up for yourself,
mm-hmm.
allows other people to show up as well.
Mm-hmm.
You give permission.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you feel like you don't have that much to say, which is totally fine, and you may not, still being able to share perspectives, thoughts, and your journey, your life, even with just your children, gives them permission to show up in the world too. And that's a really big thing. And we have to help our children be able to be confident.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much again for everybody for listening to this podcast. I hope it brought you some wonderful insight to how you guys can bring out your inner voice. And we want to know, either in the comments on social media, what are you doing to get out of your comfort zone, whether that's finding your own voice or doing something that you haven't done before? Or have you done an improv group, been in an improv group? Did it work for you? We want to know. So tag us on social media at the Women's Exclusive on Instagram, and we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, and please hit that subscribe button and have a beautiful day.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.